This week on Siskel and Ebert, Val Kilmer stars as the international thief known as the Saint.
Battling parents of the bride, Bette Midler and Dennis Farina, get caught up in that old feeling.
And Dennis Rodman helps Jean-Claude Van Damme fight enemy Mickey Rourke in Double Team.
Who did you write it for?
You are following me. All is destiny. Either way, it's weird.
Very weird.
Val Kilmer in disguise there is Simon Templar, the gentleman crook called the Saint. And Elizabeth Shue, she's really smart. She's found out the secret of cold fusion, an alternative energy source in the Saint. One of 5 new movies we'll review this week on Siskel and Ebert. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. The Saint is a movie in the tradition of James Bond. That's pretty good, that Elizabeth Shue. She's smart, isn't she?
Yeah.
But this movie does not have the same level of quality control. It's a spy thriller with a lone wolf hero, a sexy girl, international locations, and a villain with a master plan. But it's also a romance and a comedy, and it's not real good at any of those things. Val Kilmer stars as the Saint, and in this scene he's in disguise again as he deals with a Russian kingpin and his son who want him to steal the secret of cold fusion.
Who runs this thief? CIA? MI6? Libya?
He's not a race car. Nobody runs him. He's an independent contractor.
Good. Then no one will mind if I kill him.
The movie makes good use of Russian locations, including Red Square, in its story about a former communist boss who hopes to seize power by controlling the sources of energy.
Friends, countrymen, Russians!
Cold fusion, which would provide an unlimited source of virtually free energy, has allegedly been achieved by an Oxford scientist, played by Elizabeth Shue. In this scene, in a different disguise, Kilmer tries to ingratiate himself with her.
Who are you?
I'm here to do an interview with that Dr. Russell. I'm going to expose her as a fraud. You don't put any stock in this cold fusion mumbo-jumbo, do you?
Actually, I do.
And here at last is how Kilmer really looks as he and Shue gradually fall in love, which is not part of his master plan.
I'm a thief.
I want my cards back.
You flew all this way because you want your cards back?
Yes, I did.
No. It's because you're in love. Rest my case.
Who are you?
No one has a clue, least of all me.
So, okay, Kilmer does a convincing job of donning all those disguises, and there were some nice moments of sly humor in the film, which sometimes kids itself just as the Bond movies do, but the film really isn't very good. The plot meanders, the action scenes are less than amazing, and the villains are kind of ordinary, which is the wrong way to go. The Saint has a long history in novels, movies, and on television, but the latest chapter is not one of the best.
Oh, I agree with you. And Roger Moore on TV, and it's rare that you say this, but Roger Moore in that TV show was much more interesting. I think the disguises are a big mistake. I think it turns it becomes the nutty Saint, if you will. You know what I mean? And Eddie Murphy was funnier. And I think it really works at cross purposes to establishing any kind of tension in the picture. And the idea that somehow his confusion about himself and his origin and the trauma that he had in private school somehow triggers these disguises, that doesn't stand up to any kind of reasoning. One more problem. Elizabeth Shue was so strong in Leaving Las Vegas. To see her now play a typical push me, pull me kind of heroine, all wrong. The character is lousy.
Here's the sad thing. She makes Leaving Las Vegas for almost no money at all because she believes in the picture, and it's great, and she gets an Oscar nomination and all the rest of it. Then, because of her fame, she gets offered this big role in this big picture, and of course her agent probably says, take it, and she doesn't realize, in a way, unfortunately, it's the wrong career move.
Absolutely. She's a lot better than this role, and they have no chemistry together. Okay, next movie, and our next film is Inventing the Abbotts, a very strange and unsatisfying, I think, teenage romance set in a small Illinois town in the 1950s, following the anger and passions of the Holts, a couple of working-class brothers and one brother's fixation on the richest family in town, the Abbotts, and their 3 beautiful daughters. Here, that angry brother named Jason, played by Billy Crudup, talks with the middle Abbott daughter, played by Jennifer Connelly.
I just do things. I let other people figure them out. That's what parents are for. They're really good at doing all the thinking, so why should I? I think this is called the silent treatment. I get enough of it from my father.
Later still, J.C. romances the oldest Abbott daughter, played by the exciting young actress Joanna Going.
I'm married. Besides, I'm 2 years older than you.
Good. Then if the cops come, we can just tell them you bought the beer.
As for the other brother, the younger one, named Doug, played by Joaquin Phoenix, he's drawn to the youngest Abbott daughter, played by Liv Tyler.
How come you never asked me out?
What for?
For like a date, blockhead.
Because I see you all the time.
I don't mean just hanging out.
Come on.
Scared of me or something?
Hell no.
Of course, there's a showdown between the wealthy Mr. Abbott, who married into his money, and the angry J.C. Holt.
I know all there is to know about screwing your way into a wealthy family. And I'll never let you screw your way into mine.
The performances are strong in Inventing the Abbotts. I like the cast, but the movie, I think, is wildly overwritten. We sit there saying, come on, this is a big soap opera. And if everybody weren't so beautiful and so angry in Inventing the Abbotts, I think its story would have a whole lot more credibility and meaning. I can't recommend the movie, only the performances.
It's a very strange film. It's not only set in the 50s, but it looks like it was made in the 50s.
Yeah.
I mean, it has that kind of slow, lugubrious soap opera kind of intensity, and it places so much emphasis on these horrible secrets from the past and what really happened the night that the car went through the ice, and did so-and-so really have an affair?
And steal the patent or something.
Yeah, and then who stole the patent? That's for the sliding steel drawers. That was really exciting. And then when all of these secrets are figured out, then from Freudian methods, you can figure out what happened in the present. And come on, I mean, give us a break.
Come on is the operative phrase in this movie.
Okay, when we come back, Jean-Claude Van Damme and Chicago Bulls star Dennis Rodman are a double team.
I hope you don't judge a person by the way they look.
I hate that.
Just tell me what you need. I got shit here so new, even I don't know I have it.
Offense gets the glory.
But defense wins the game.
An anti-terrorist operative played by Jean-Claude Van Damme needs help in Antwerp, and he gets it from a weird arms dealer and party boy named Yaz, played there by NBA star Dennis Rodman, in a scene from the new thriller Double Team. Van Damme's assignment is to track down a terrorist played by Mickey Rourke, and the trail leads to a Dutch amusement park where Rourke's plans for an outing with his young son are interrupted by an ambush. Rodman teams up with Van Damme to protect his investment, he says, and although that's a fairly flimsy plot premise for risking your life, he's soon right there in the middle of the fight against terrorism.
He's up! He's in!
It wouldn't be a Van Damme picture without karate, and this one is directed by Sui Hark of Hong Kong, director of the famous Chinese ghost story movies. The action scenes are well handled. And here's the most outrageous scene in the movie as Rourke takes Van Damme's newborn son and places him in the center of the Roman Colosseum, surrounded by landmines and a prowling tiger.
Lift your foot, my tall friend, and that mine will turn you into red paint.
Double Team is the kind of movie you can't think about for 1 second. Basically, it's just an excuse to team up an action star and a basketball star and put them in some absurd situations with lots of explosions and special effects. It's not a good movie, but at a certain level, it gets the job done. Can Rodman act? Let's put it this way. The script calls for him to play himself, and he does an adequate job. Is the movie worth seeing? Not at first-run prices.
Well, for me, not at second-run prices either. I didn't like the picture. I think the thing people are probably most interested in is, can he act?
Yeah.
He is given one-liners to start out, which is sensible for a picture. But then the one-liners wear out their welcome. There are a lot of, NBA stuff. Defense wins the games. I don't play for the bad boys.
You know, my favorite, he throws a skull at a detonator and misses and says, airball.
Yeah, I mean, some of that, the first one or two, but then they should cut it out. And the other thing is, I also would have liked to see him drop his shades for a while. And he does late, but I think too late. I think he is charming in a slight way in this picture, and he could do more, and he probably will get a chance to do more. And this film uses him more as a stunt or as a freak in a way that he is beyond. And so that's my review.
Yeah, and
the picture is a joke.
Van Damme only has one-liners, too. In fact, what they're doing here, obviously, is keeping the dialogue to a complete minimum, and because you have a non-actor and a guy with a foreign accent, and what you want to do is get it dubbed as quickly as possible and open it in China.
But I've given positive reviews to a couple of Van Damme.
Oh, yeah, Van Damme makes some decent movies.
This isn't it. And I think you credited the director. I thought the problem was there was nonstop action to the point that it exhausted me.
I thought the lion and the landmines and the baby, and that was kind of interesting.
Oh, I just saw so much broken glass, so many cars, I just was tired by the time we got around to that. Coming up next, Bette Midler and Dennis Farina play a divorced couple who give their relationship one more chance in the romantic comedy, That Old Feeling.
You've got more hair.
I don't think so.
What is it, plugs?
No.
A rug?
No, look. Let's not do this, okay? Please.
I'm just curious. Rogaine. Hair clip for men?
Bette Midler seemingly hates her ex-husband, Dennis Farina, but what do you know? They give it one more chance in a stupid movie called That Old Feeling that really set my teeth on edge. Director Kyle Reiner, who has fallen on as hard a time in movie making as his former comedy partner Mel Brooks, tells an absurd, overacted piece about a feuding couple that reunites even though they're both remarried since their breakup.
Sutures! You had a scalp lift, you vain, arrogant pig!
You picked up a few pounds. Fatty!
Put me down! Put me down!
Yeah.
Put me down! Take
Try something.
We've got to...
Real
It's wrong.
After they kiss, they start fighting again. I thought everything was overwritten in this film.
But it does seem like the gentlemanly thing to do to at least tell her it's over after 14 years.
Why? You were with me 12 and you went straight to Fiji with her and you never came back.
Yes, well, that was after I found Alan luxuriating in my bathroom.
Oh, no, I beg your pardon.
Their daughter has similar misgivings and changes of heart about the man she's just married. In this scene, she struggles with her attraction to a young tabloid photographer.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Just wait. Just wait.
And naturally, they fall in love. That Old Feeling has some of the same surface elements as a surprise smash hit romantic comedy, Sleepless in Seattle, the vintage songs by Louis Armstrong, the off and on again love affairs, but this script is just junk by comparison. It follows the formula of feud and make up, feud and make up. You'll figure that out in 5 minutes and start hating That Old Feeling. I know I did.
The only thing I liked about the movie was David Rashi's dialogue as the self-help guru. That was kind of funny, but come on, the rest of this movie, these are attractive actors. They deserve better material than this.
Oh,
There's one scene where the paparazzi and the bride are locked in a hotel room and they try to attract attention by throwing fruit.
Yeah.
And some cops see the fruit and ignore it, which is not a big joke, but I guess it's the joke. But the scene doesn't stop there. They just keep throwing the rest of the fruit over, like a Letterman show where he's dumping watermelons off of towers.
You're faulting the director, Kyle Reiner.
Yes, I am.
Okay,
yes.
When we come back, two comic book artists fall into a very unconventional love affair in Chasing Amy.
Well, it's all about marketing. Over or underweight guys that don't get laid. They're our bread and butter.
Service in Southern California style, adjacent to Beverly Hills on LA's fashionable West Side. The Century Plaza Hotel and Tower, a Westin hotel.
And now, at last, we come to what at least I think is the only good movie on this week's show. It's called Chasing Amy, and it was written and directed by Kevin Smith, who made a name for himself a few years ago with a very low-budget comedy named Clerks that was well-written and very funny. Then he made Mallrats, a film so bad that Smith actually apologized for it. Now he's back with Chasing Amy, which is a terrific film, well written, well acted, about a love affair that forces a comic book artist to question all of his ideas about himself. Here's an early scene where the artist, played by Ben Affleck, runs into a woman he met at a comic book convention. She's played by Joy Lauren Adams, and she writes comic books too, and at this point, what he doesn't know is she's a lesbian.
What, you're saying you're from the burbs?
Middletown, New Jersey.
Get out of here! I'm from Highland.
I know, Looper told me.
How is we never ran into one another?
She begins to hang out with the artist and his two friends, played here by Jason Lee and Dwight Ewell.
Archie and Jughead were lovers.
Shut the...
It's true. Archie was the bitch and Jughead was the butch. That's why Jughead wears that crown-looking hat all the time. He the king of Queen Archie's world.
More good dialogue here as the artist meets with two real-life friends who are the inspiration for his dope-addled comic book heroes. The guy on the right there is Kevin Smith, the movie's director, still playing Silent Bob, his character in Clerks and Mallrats.
I'm just having a little girl trouble.
Pressing charges? I get that a lot.
Finally becomes clear to Affleck that he is in love with this girl, even if she is gay, and he pours out his feelings in a heartfelt scene.
I love you, and not in a friendly way, although I think we're great friends, and not in a misplaced affection puppy dog way, although I'm sure that's what you'll call it. I love you. Very, very simple, very truly. You are the epitome of everything I have ever looked for in another human being. And I know that you think of me as just a friend, and crossing that line is the furthest thing from an option you would ever consider, but I had to say it.
Chasing Amy is a smart, funny, and surprisingly moving film, and it deals honestly with issues of sexuality with more wisdom and insight than you would even remotely expect from a film based in this slacker comic book doper milieu. Listening to these people talk, you realize that most movie characters are operating at 1/4 speed. The way the movie pulls together all of its plot points in a great final scene is very well handled, and Chasing Amy is more evidence that Kevin Smith is an original and promising talent.
I think so too, and you know, these are the buzzwords that we've been saying week after week. Intelligent, sounds like people actually talking. I would ask the screenwriters out in Hollywood who's missed this time after time, does this sound like anybody you have ever heard talking? And maybe they ought to go see Chasing Amy and hear what natural speech sounds like. I can't believe they don't hear it in their real lives. They don't reflect it in their movies.
Well, you take the opening scene of this movie. I don't know anything about, I don't care about comic books that much, but I found this fascinating because it was about what they really do and how they feel about it, and he's getting on the other guy's nerves. And when you hear that dialogue, you think about that old feeling, which doesn't have
nothing.
6 lines in it that anyone would ever say under any circumstances.
The test, I'm so glad that Fargo won, to go back, I'm so glad that Fargo, in a picture like this, won for Best Original Screenplay. These are the films, these scripts must be studied by people in Hollywood. They're on another planet. They're on another planet. Coming up next, our video pick of the week, a better romance than either Inventing the Abbotts or That Old Feeling. I guess that's not much of a compliment, but this one is a fine film. It stars a recent Oscar winner.
Ebert's Video Pick of the Week is brought to you by Raisinets. At the movies or anytime, Raisinets.
My video pick this week is The Horseman on the Roof, a 1995 French epic romance that was said to be the most expensive film ever made in France at the time, telling the 19th century story of an Italian patriot who escapes to France away from Austrian invaders in Italy. There he is smitten by the beautiful wife of a French nobleman, played by the Oscar winner, Juliette Binoche, the nurse in The English Patient.
Vous ne pouvez pas rester ici, dans cette ville. Vous êtes seule et en plus vous ouvrez votre porte à des inconnus. Vous êtes très imprudente.
Vous trouvez?
It's the scale and the sweep of The Horseman on the Roof that is so appealing, a real throwback to films like Dr. Zhivago, as Binoche ventures into cholera-plagued villages to find her missing husband. Olivier Martinez, as the Italian patriot, accompanies her, and they gradually begin to realize their own attraction to one another.
Pourquoi êtes-vous resté avec moi? J'aurais pu vous donner la mort aussi bien que n'importe qui. Je dormais dans votre manteau.
Le choléra me craint comme la peste.
The Horseman on the Roof is now out on videotape and Laserdisc. It's a film that cries out to be seen in a movie theater, but better on video than not at all. The Horseman on the Roof, my video pick of the week. Now let's recap the movies we reviewed on this show. 2 thumbs down for The Saint, the meandering romantic thriller starring Val Kilmer with about a half dozen too many disguises. 2 thumbs down on Inventing the Abbotts, about working-class brothers vying for the affections of Three Wealthy Sisters. 2 thumbs down for Dennis Rodman's starring film debut opposite Jean-Claude Van Damme in Double Team, but Dennis does have a future as an actor. 2 more thumbs down, way down, for the preposterous That Old Feeling, with couples feuding and then making up like clockwork. And finally, 2 thumbs up for Chasing Amy, the affecting story of a young artist pursuing a love affair with a gay woman.
You've got it. And Chasing Amy is opening, I guess, in New York, and they're moving out across the country, and that's the way to do it. Sometimes they put these movies in 2,000 theaters, and they haven't yet gotten the word out about why people should want to seek out this movie.
That's it for this week. Next week, we'll be back with reviews of more new movies, including Anaconda, starring Jennifer Lopez and John Voight, deep in the Amazon jungle with a 40-foot snake. Also, Paradise Road, starring Glenn Close and Oscar winner Frances McDormand. World War II Prisoners of War. That's next week. Until then, the balcony is closed.